everyone. Hello. Hi. I'm a couple of minutes late. I was just setting up a new cat bed that we've got for Leo and baby Max. It's one that I've wanted to get for a good few years, and it's not small and it's not cheap. So it's got two segments. So there's a top bit and a bottom bit. And I'm hopeful that the boys will use it together so that because they are sleeping more and more closely together. So I'm hopeful that with a bit of scent work, because, whenever you get a new bed, you can't just expect your cat to go straight onto it. We might do that with a new sofa, but for cats, it's like foreign contaminant. So I told them it was coming, and it's arrived. So now we've got to do some scent work to integrate it into their territory and to help it smell like them and like me. And then there might be some treats involved if we need to encourage them to help them understand that it's a safe thing and it's not, scary and bad, which cats can think that when you bring new things into their environment. So tonight, let me stop rambling about my stuff and my cat. So tonight I'm here to offer you guys a live Q&A option. So I don't think I've done one of these before. I'm a little bit apprehensive, so I always, try to be as transparent as possible. And I really wanted to end 2023 with the best way that I could, which is about saying to you guys, like, what do you need help with? What are you struggling? Oops, wrong button. What are you struggling with your cat? Where do you need support? Where are what's going on? So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you may be, thank you to everybody who's tuning in and is here with me, who is here present with me. Get my teeth in. Drop your questions. Let's get chatting. I would love to know, what are you struggling with? Have you read the Cat Chakra book? Have you read the Aromatic Cat book? Do you have any questions about those? Happy to talk about chakras, happy to talk about energy work, herbs, whatever, behavior, emotions, energy, cats, whatever it may be. So, tell me what your questions are, drop them in the chat and let me see how I can help you guys. Hang on a second, let me get my comments up. Might help if I can actually see my comments. You can some of my team have been away. I went to come into the streaming software. I was like, oh, there's no link. Oh no, I haven't told anybody that I'm going live, like my end. I told you guys I'm going live. So okay, so great question. So I was just about to start rambling then. We've got the first question. Could you recommend cleaning products safe around cats? So I would go more natural, like as natural as you can go. Now, obviously, I've had to consider this with my boy Leo, and there are some things. So we have a bath that, because of the water quality we have, it gets a lot of lime scale, no matter like how really you clean it. So we have quite what I would call like a toxic cleaner to get the lime scale. And what I do is when I clean the bath, I shut the room. I open the window and I make sure that Leo's out of the house. I do it on a lovely sunny day. So what I would say is if you do need to use chemicals and cleaners, try to ensure your cats aren't around or you've got a lot of ventilation. For me, like I then generally I actually just use lemon juice and a bit of water, sometimes vinegar. So if the boys, usually is Leo, if one of them has weed, like, on furniture or whatever, I will use a mixture of water. I think it's white vinegar and lemon juice. And I put a mixture together and I spray that. And then what I actually do is I will use hydrosols after. So when I'm doing when I'm cleaning my house, a Hoover's a great thing. Great, I hate dusting. Like, what is the point? But you Hoover and you dust. And then cleaning products really are what's the best thing for what you're doing. Sometimes there are natural options. And I'll be honest, like I don't use a lot of different products. If I have to use the chemicals, I use them when the boys aren't around. When I mop the floor, I put some lemon juice and a little bit of like granulated salt in the warm water, mix it up. That's how I mop my floor, because obviously that's for feet, that's what they go on, that's what they go on. Goodness sake. think about where their pores go. So, I try to have as minimal as possible. And I don't have any of the kind of plug-in stuff to make the house smell nice, because my house doesn't smell, because it's clean. So I would say lemon juice, some sort of like acid. So like a vinegar, white vinegar, or like, what's the other one? Like oh God, I can't think of the name, but there's another type of vinegar you could use as well. But basically, you want some form of like acidic option, and find a component composition that works for you. So I don't particularly like lemon juice. You could use orange or lime. Again, it's really, the citrus options are great. If you're not a fan of lemon, you could use orange or lime. And I use hydrosol. So I have a rose. So I only use 2 hydrosols really with my boys. One is rose and one is geranium. And that's because hydrosols are amazing if you don't know about them. Get the Aromatic Cat book, because we talk about hydrosols. And also, if you haven't already, great segue. If you haven't already registered for the Naturally Cats conference in February, Nyana Morag, my co-author of the Aromatic Cat and an author of Essential Oils for Dogs, and I think she's done a horses one, and Essential Oils for Animals, she's doing a talk on hydrosols. So if you haven't booked your free ticket or got your VIP option, head to my website. There's a banner at the top. You can register for your free space for the conference next year. Learn all about hydrosols. So I use rose and geranium because rose is really emotionally nurturing and geranium is emotionally balancing and physically grounding. So if I need to use something to make somewhere smell nice, or for example, to get rid of the cat wee smell, I will use the cleaning product, and then I will use a hydrosol as well. So it's a bit softer on the cat's sense of smell. Oh, great. So I hope that's helped, my love. Okay, brilliant. Loving this. Who else has got questions? Okay, Claire. Hi. My cat is 14. He has IBD and is on 4 weekly steroid injections. Oh, poor boo-boo. I feed him a hypoallergenic dry diet as advised by the vet, and I hate feeding it. Oh, my love. It helps, but it's full of rubbish. I would love to try raw, but worried about it. What are you worried about? That'd be my first question. And do you think raw would help? That's my second question. So I really love how honest you've been with sharing, what the vets advise and what you want to do. What I would say is there's a couple of different components to this, because our energy impacts our cats. Like, I had a huge fear for a very, very long time, as in like years, that Leo wouldn't eat. Leo doesn't eat. He's not eating enough. Why isn't he eating? If he sniffs his food and walks away, like, what's going on? And I've worked on that a lot. All the tools that I talk about, Soul-Led Guardian program, all the tools I use to deal with my fear. I don't have that fear. Let me rephrase that. I very rarely have that fear anymore. So when I used to prepare his food, I would be anxious. I'd be like, oh my God, what if he doesn't eat it? He's really got to eat it. He can't have 5 days of not eating. I can't have him in the vets overnight for 3 nights and have feline anorexia, because that's what happened a couple of years ago, which is where my trauma came from. And now I prepare his food and I'm like, I trust and know that he will eat what he needs to nourish his body. See the difference in the energy I'm bringing to prepping that food there. So the reason that I share that anecdote, Claire, is because, how do you feel about raw? Like, what is it you're worried about and how can you deal with that? That actually, in my opinion and in my experience, comes before the vet stuff. Now, let me be clear. I am not a vet. I am not saying go against your vet's recommendations or advice. I love my vet. I've been to my vet today to drop off a worm that I found on the floor. Anyway, that's a whole other story. I am pro vet. I love my vet. All about the vets. So the vets have given you one option. Like, that's just one option. There are other ways to help him, and there are other ways to deal with that. And the first thing that I would advise you look at is you. So, like, what do you bring into all this situation? Like, how do you feel about his diagnosis? How do you feel about the injections? How do you feel about him going to the vets? Because all of that's coming out of you, that even though you may not vocalize it, even though you may try really hard to push it down and to hide it away and to not show it, is still coming out of you energetically. So how are you feeling about things with him? That would be my first question. You have to be careful he doesn't eat something that gives him a poorly tummy and would and I would prefer him to eat a proper diet. Okay. So there's really an understanding here about, when we have expectations of something, that also puts a lot of pressure on the situation, that really changes the energy and vibration. So I'm with you on this. And I say this because, like, when we first had baby Max, he was free fed dry food and wet food, really piss poor quality as well. And there are days now where he won't eat unless he has 3 pieces of dry food before he eats his meal. It's not every meal, it's not every day. And it really grates on me when we're in this cycle or in that space. And I have to check myself, because what I feel, what I want, what I think, how things should go is impacting the whole of it. So I'm glad you said, I love my vet. She's lovely. I'm happy he's on injections. It's making him feel better, but I feel I could do more for him. So my darling, like, I'm really glad that you love your vet. Let's tick that box. You're happy that he's on injections because it's making him feel better, but I feel I could do more for him. So I get that. Like, I'm somebody that is ingrained with, like, if you cut me down the middle, you would see continuous improvement. Those are like, that's a mantra. That's the way I live my life. How can I do it better? How can I be better? How can I do better, know better, show up better? Like, I am constantly on that cycle of what else can I do? And sometimes just kind of accepting where you are and finding the gratitude space in that is a really big thing too. So IBD, I don't have a huge amount of experience, and I won't talk too much to the physical side of things tonight because that's not my realm of expertise. Like Dr. Katie Woodley, that's where you want to go for that kind of information. She talks a lot about the physical body support. I only said to her today, because we're friends, and I said, it's interesting how I do the energetics and the energy, the emotions and the energetics, and like you do the physical and the kind of, the nutrition side of everything. So we're a great combo. So if you don't follow Katie Woodley, get on it, people. The Natural Pet Doctor. IBD, my only experience really has been with pickle, and that was like years and years ago. We didn't really know a lot about IBD in cats. So I can't really speak to what to do in terms of how to treat that, because that's not I don't have qualifications in that area. What I would say is there is a space to support him, again, kind of energetically. So, if we think about IBD, we'd be looking at the two lower chakras. So the sacral and the solar plexus and the sacral. Where am I on Instagram? Can't see me. Here, solar plexus and sacral. So weird. That's such a different. Anyway, so if you haven't already got my cat chakra book, we're talking here about digestive issues and support. Let me find the bit. I know it, but I want to be able to show you. Which way are we going with the chakras? That way. That's helpful, Jules. Right. Hang on. So connection to the physical body. This is for the sacral chakra, stomach, small intestines. And then if we go over to the sacral, solar plexus, because they're going up, Julian. Stomach and root is the second part of the digestive system. Large intestines, that was it. I couldn't remember the name. So we'd be looking at the bottom 3 chakras. Now, ways that you can help him energetically is, you do Reiki, which he loves. Amazing. I can support nutrition as well. That'd be an extra bonus. Amazing. So, right, let me pause there. Let me not talk about energy, because you're good. If you do Reiki, that's good. Good. So what have you tried to do with integrating raw food? So if we go, let me put my behavior head on. If I said to you, like, we're going to switch your diet from green juices to McDonald's, like burgers, or the other way around, whichever, your body is going to be like, what the hell? Like, wow, that's a massive shock to the system. Like your digestive enzymes, your gut flora, the way that you create a poop, like everything in the body is going to be like, what on earth are you doing to me? So there's a physical adjustment to changing diet. There's also a behavioral and emotional component to this. So some cats, now I would say cats that are dealing with some sort of illness, have kind of like a an energetic deficiency already, because like the vet visit, the car visit, the medication, like medication can cause holes in the auric field. So they're already kind of energy inefficient, let's say. Okay. So if we make changes to them, to their environment, their food, their setup, whatever, it's going to imbalance them more. Think about a seesaw, right? They're already a bit wonky one way and a bit wonky the next. And if we make changes, it's going to perhaps do it a bit more that way. So how can you make it safe and stable? This is my new mantra. So one of the mantras that I have for the Soul Led Guardian program is find it, feel it, and release it, which is all about emotions. But for this, it's like, but for cats, one of my new mantras is how can we make it safe and stable? How can we make them feel safe and stable? So have you tried the 2-plate method, which is you put normal plate of food down, next to it, you put like a teaspoon, like the tip of your finger, little finger size bit of food, like the new food on that plate. And you do that for like, I would say a week. Speak to Amaya or Brendan, they'd be like, do it for a day or two. I am risk averse. I am patient. I like to do things at a slower pace, particularly behaviorally speaking, because it gives cats more of an opportunity to adjust and to feel safer and more secure. Some cats will adjust straight away. Every cat is different. So the 2-plate method is you put them side by side. There's no pressure from you. There's no expectation. There is no need to watch and see what happens. Not heard of the 2-plate method. Brilliant. So you just offer it. And what happens is the cat will start to smell the new food. Now, raw food, good raw food, healthy, not healthy, what's the word? Not contaminated raw food shouldn't smell. If your raw food smells, you got a problem, because that's the smell of bacteria, which means it's off and you need to ditch it. But what you could do is if you put sprinkles on top of his food, or if you said to me he's having dry, what you could do is put the some of the dry bit pieces into a food bag, bash it up with your rolling pin or the end of a knife. That's generally my go-to, but apparently it's not very safe. So use a rolling pin and kind of crush it up, smash it up. And then when you put the 2 plates down, do a normal plate as normal, like everything you would do normally. And then the other plate or the other bowl, whichever you use, put a little bit of raw food and sprinkle some of the dry food on top. And basically what you do is you just let the cat get used to this other thing. So he may sniff it and is it he, isn't it? Yeah. He may sniff it and be like, oh, it's dry food. Give it a lick and have a go. And again, because you're dealing with IBD, the slower the better. So if you think, IBD, inflammatory bowel disease, so the gut is like, rah, it's raging. Okay. So to make changes to what it's used to, even whatever it is that makes it rage, is going to have an impact. So you want to go, and I mean like painfully slow. You go painfully slow. So the 2-plate method, you put them side by side and you just see how it goes. So both of them in the middle of the plate to start with. And then as the weeks go on, you move them. So you've got your 2 plates like this, the food's in the middle. You just move it closer on each plate, closer, so that you're bringing the 2 foods together. And see what happens. Like, let your cat show you how it feels about that. Some cats may not like the 2 plates being together, so just put it slightly to one side, but in the sphere of where they feed. Okay. And then what you do is when you bring them close to the edge of the plate, then you put it on one plate. And with one plate, you have the normal food at one end and you have the kind of like contaminant food at the other end of the plate. And you just see how it goes. So what I would say, Claire, is first of all, and I always talk about the human stuff first, like first of all, look at your energy. How do you feel? You said you were worried about it. I would look at that. I would journal on that. I would walk and talk with that. I would reflect on it. I would deal with it. Like your worry, if you bring that to the situation, it won't go well. I would put money on that. But if you have the capacity to look at yourself, to deal with a bit of that and have a bit of faith, move up into a bit of trust, and then see how it goes. Try the 2-plate method at just a little at a time is what I would say. Okay. So I hope that helps. If you give it a go, drop a comment or pop a picture in the tag me, drop a picture on your Facebook page and profile, for goodness sake, and tag me and let me know how it goes. Okay, my love. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Anybody else? Who's got questions for me? What other questions do you have, peeps? If you don't give me questions, I'll just rant at you about something or bring up something to talk about. So you got me here. You got me live. How can I support you all? Anybody got any other questions? No, right. I'm going to just talk at you then. Okay. So whilst you're typing questions, hopefully, I've mentioned about the conference. So that's in February, 10th and the 11th of February. And it's 2 days online event. Like I said, there's free tickets. So you can get your free ticket and there's a VIP option, which gives you the replays. It gives you access to some discount codes for some of the speakers, whether that's services or products or both. And you get access to an after party event. So we're doing a VIP round table and you can submit questions to the experts. So if you haven't already got your space for the Naturally Cats conference, previously called the Holistic Cat Conference, but we changed the name because somebody else had a conference this year with that name and I'm not going to have the same name as them. So Naturally Cats conference next February. Head to my website, naturallycats.co.uk, and there's a banner at the top. If you click on that, you can register for your free ticket and come and join us. Okay, Bron Chapman. Hello, my love. Lovely to have you here. What can I do about my rescue cat who attacks me out of the blue? Okay, so I need a little bit more detail. So how long have you had the cat for? What was the situation with the cat beforehand? Have you tried any herbs or colour therapy? Those are all my questions. So if we think about when we've got a rescue cat, what has come before? What have they been exposed to? What's going on with them? When a cat attacks, there's a reason. So although you've said, 4 years, okay. You said to me, you had him, he attacks out of the blue. Is it he or she? But there's always a reason. There's always a reason that cats behavior. So have you tried any herbs? Have you tried any colors? What do you do when the cat attacks you? What happens? Totally dribbled water down my chin. Okay. Tell me a bit more, my darling. Okay, Bron Chapman, give me a bit more info, my darling. I'm happy to come back and see how I can support you with that question. So tell me what you've tried and tell me how does the attacks, how do they happen? What does the cat do? It's a he, right? You isolate him. Oh, wow. Why? What happens when he attacks? Is it he goes to bite or scratch? Or does he start going running around the house and like a feral type attack sort of thing? Oh, I see some couple of questions coming on Instagram. Great. I'll get to you guys in just a second. Adventures of Max and Co. Oh, my keyboard is acting a bit dodgy. Oh, no. Mercury retrograde starts today, people. Good old tech going to go wonky. I'm surprised I was able to get online, to be honest. Ooh, great questions. Adventures of Max and Co. I'll come back to that. Okay, he bites and scratches, really aggressive. Okay, so why do you give him the timeout? Why do you isolate him? Because he's clearly trying to express something to you. So it could be, that hand was too much, that hand was too close, that leg was too close. Like if you're just walking by, it's, we would need to understand what the aggression is that's coming out of him. So is it fear-based? Is it because he's scared? Is it because he doesn't feel safe? Is it because he's got type PTSD type reactions? What's his nervous system like? How can you help him to feel grounded and balanced and to find a bit of sort of peace? So when we have a cat that is reactive, we need to understand why that is. And when you can understand why it's being reactive, then you could look at how to nurture and support them. So I would question whether isolating him is supportive to changing this behavior in him. He will come up to me if I am seated and bite me from behind my legs. Okay. So is it like, but is it, what how does that happen? So my understanding would be that, you know, if he is giving, if you are sat like chilling out watching telly, because you said he attacks you out of the blue, then all of a sudden you're sat down and then he comes to attack you. Is it because he's bored? Is it because the last time that he was with a, you know, when he was in a different home, because you said he was a rescue cat, was biting someone's legs the way that he got attention and interaction and playtime? You know, because often when people have kittens, they don't play with them and help the kitten to understand the play behavior is directed to like the wand toy or the fish or whatever. Kittens, a lot of the time, I've had so many clients come to me and say, my cat bites my ankles or my kitten bites my ankles. I'm like, well, that's because they think it's a plaything. So if it's a previously learned behavior with him, you can do behavior modification with him with that. As soon as he attacks you, rather than putting him in another room, go and get a toy out. Now, I appreciate there's a bit of an emotional shift there for you, because if you've just been bitten and attacked by a cat, there's the human part of us that wants to be like, right, I'm just done with you, you know, or like, oh my God, that hurt, go away from me. And there is also a nurture space for you to try to find, to say, okay, so why did he do that? Is he bored? Does he need stimulation? Does he need an energy release? So if I get a wand toy and play with him at a distance, is that going to help him to release his pent up energy? If I get this toy and play with him on the floor and we do a bit of like ping pong or hide and seek or whatever it may be, is that going to give him mental stimulation to stop the aggressive outburst? He draws blood, which is why it's traumatic for you, right? That's why I'm sure it's upsetting. Yeah. But you need to do some work to support him with this behavior. So I understand that it's, like I said, that it's upsetting for you, and there's space to nurture him with that. So I would look at what you can do to understand, first of all, like, where is it coming from? Is it a previously learned behavior, or is it reactive to his environment? And then I would look at how you can support him. So potentially behavior modification, bringing in some emotional and mental support for, like, you know, playing and things. And then I would look look at bringing in some herbs. So if you haven't already, I would get a herb garden. My herb gardens right now, buy one get one free if you get them before the 22nd of December. And I would be putting down straight away valerian, chamomile, and angelica root. All three of those are calming, emotionally nurturing, and supportive, and grounding. So with herbs, you put a towel or a blanket down in a quiet space of a room, not in the front room or hallway. We have ours in our dining room, and I have one in the spare room. And you put a blanket or a towel down, and on the corner of each, one of the four corners of the blanket or the towel, you put down a good pinch of herbs. So, excuse me. So this is what one of the herb gardens looks like. And basically it comes with little bags, like literally little bags of herbs. Okay. So in each herb garden, there's enough for two. Whoops. So you'd put down half the bag, you know, like I said, a really good pinch, you know, not like you're putting a pinch of salt in your bolognese. You put a really good pinch down. There's 6 herbs in a packet, so I would suggest you use 4. This one actually has got chamomile in it. Put half of that down, and you let the cat do what they need to do. So valerian, particularly if you've got an anxious or aggressive cat, is going to help. It's going to help to calm him. So I would be getting some herbs, Bron, if you're not ready to step into the behavior work or the emotionally supportive stuff with him. If you're still kind of scared of him, and I can understand if that is happening, then I would get some herbs and put them down for him. And I'd also consider if you can do something other than shutting him away, because that's going to create more fear for him. You know, when we put our cats in isolation, they're detached, and cats thrive on connection. So I appreciate it's hard for you, but is there another way that you can support him with that? Ready to try anything? Brilliant. Head to my website, Bron. Like I said, it's buy one, get one free on the herb garden. So if you get 2, you'll have 12 herbs. So you'll have plenty to try with him. It does come with a leaflet of how to set it up. If you want more info, there's info in the Aromatic Cat book. Nyana and I talking here about how to use a herb garden. Hang on a minute, let me find the page. In here, look. Where are we? So there's step-by-step pictures Okay, Instagram and Facebook, how to use a herb garden. You're in Australia. In that case, you'll have to message me and I will figure it out, because at the moment I don't ship to Australia, but I want to get something to you. So if you drop me an email, Bron, info@naturallycats.co.uk, I will look and see how we can get something to you. Okay. We'll look at postage options and I can see what that can look like. So yeah, if you want to get it from me, drop me a message and let me know. And let's see what we can do to support your boy. All right, sweetheart. Okay. Adventures in Mexico, I'm coming to you. Right. My keyboard on Insta is acting a bit dodgy, so taking a while to type. What's your favorite methods for dealing with your own emotions around animals and also not getting overwhelmed from taking on the feelings from animals in distress? Okay. You're welcome, Bron. No problem, darling. Great question. Adventures in Mexico. So what's your favorite methods for dealing with your own emotions around animals? It's like 2 questions. I'll do that one first. So for many years, I did not manage this very well. Like, I like to be as transparent and honest with you guys as I can be. I'm starting to lose my voice. I've been on so many calls today. And I would feel it all. The second part where you've said not taking on the feelings of animals in distress, I did that for such a long time. I worked at rescue centres for a while. When I did my feline zoopharmacognosy diploma, we went to rescues. When I did my animal healing diploma, we went to rescues, and I volunteered at a rescue as well for a while, and it broke my heart. I would come home emotionally exhausted, physically spent, and it took me a good couple of days to recover. What I found now, and this is going to sound perhaps a little cheesy and maybe a bit too simple, I don't know, but this is the truth for me, is the more grounded I am, the more I can manage my own energy. Now, like, that may seem really simple, and I have to tell you, like, I have to focus on that. So this last month, the last few months, like, I've given up alcohol. Wasn't really drinking much anyway, but I don't drink anymore because I realized it affects my energy and my vibration. As an empath, it absolutely messes with my vibration, and it's not cool. Then I didn't. So that was a 30-day challenge, a good few months ago now. Then I did a 30-day challenge of having 3 to 5 minutes of like kind of quiet time in the morning. I managed, I would say, 80% of that for the month. And now I do 3 to 5 minutes every morning and every evening. I've got a chart on my wall. If I wasn't live on my computer on Facebook, I would take the phone and show you on Instagram, but it's not fair to show one and not the other. So I have got a chart on my wall. So I'm a completer finisher. Like, I'm a detail person. You know, was probably the kid, not that we had them back then, but I would have been a good kid that had, you know, those charts with the stars and the stickers in the box, you know, to see like, well done. I have on my wall a big A3 piece of paper broken down into squares, and I've got AM and PM of every day on it, and I put a little note in there. So I share that because being grounded for me is a daily thing. Being focused on my energy is a conscious choice. And if I don't do that, if I go out somewhere and I haven't done my 3 to 5 minutes in the morning, I'll come at home and be like, man, I am done. Like, I am spent. What happened? I'm like, oh, God damn it. I didn't do my Zen work in the morning. Like, I don't take 20 minutes, half an hour. Like, honestly, I don't really have the time. So I do 3 to 5 minutes. I have a certain track on my phone, and that's the one I use. I use it every day because it creates muscle memory for me. So, like, physically and in my head, my brain's like, oh, you started that. So then we go into this space. I literally sit on the edge of the bed day and night, morning and evening. And being more grounded has helped me, because then when I step into spaces or I go to places, all of a sudden, if I'm like, God, I feel like really emotional, I'm like, okay, I'm giving my energy out, because I'm a healer, you know, I want to help people. So if I feel that's coming and that's happening, I have to take myself away and I recalibrate. Funny, we talked about this in the Soul-Led Guardian call we had yesterday. No, this morning even. It's Wednesday. We had that this morning, our weekly call. I was talking to one of my participants and she said about how she'd gone into her family's home and like the TVs were on and it was so much noise and everything. So I took myself outside to calm down and connect with Bentley, who was the cat who was at home. And I said, all right. I said, can I just ask? I said, were you stressed? Were you anxious? She's like, well, not really. She was just like a lot. And I said, okay, so why did you use the term calm down? She's like, well, that's what people say. I said, but did you feel the need to calm yourself? And she said, well, no. I said, so can I offer you a different perspective? I said, perhaps you just needed to recalibrate. She was like, yes, like totally yes. I said, so what did you do? She said, excuse me, I took a few deep breaths. She said, I closed my eyes. She did a breathing exercise that we have in the program, which is like 2-3 minutes. She said, and then I was like, right, I'm better. I'm grounded. I can go back in. She said, I went back into the house. She said, and it just felt different because I was different. She said, my energy was in me. My energy was my own. So yes, it was loud. Yes, it was stimulating. She said, but actually, like I could then manage it because I was back with me. So for anybody that works in a shelter or a rescue place, what I would say is like, you have my utmost respect. I send you so much love because those places are hard. Those places are emotionally difficult and I couldn't do it anymore. And I really respect anyone that does. And anybody that works with an animal, like I stopped watching TV a while ago because the news, there's everything's about suffering. I can't watch nature programs because when you see like the lion gets the antelope, nature's cruel. It's upsetting. So it's about finding, for me, it's about finding like where your energy is and what you can put it on, where you can keep it, where you can put it. And the more I keep it on me, the more I can be of service to others, the more I can manage the situation. That doesn't mean that I don't still get upset. So when we're dealing with animals, if we see an animal that's suffering, if you're a sentient, human, you're unlikely to just dismiss it or to not be affected by it because, we're animal lovers in this community. So there's a piece there about finding a bit of grace for what you're experiencing. And then I would say it's really about grounding and however that works for you. Oh no, pause on Instagram, poor connection. Mercury, reconnecting. Hang on a minute. Oh no. Legendary 3D gamer, you can ask me any cat questions. It's not like just ask me anything. It's about, hi JR, it's about asking me cat questions. If you've got a cat question, go for it. Anything else? Not tonight, Josephine, as my grams would say. Instagram, what are you doing? Right, what's going on here? Ah, come on. There's my Wi-Fi. Right, let's try and join a 4G. Oh, Instagram, come on now. JR, yes, I'm starting to cut back on reading the news in the morning. Instead, I work through mantras. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hi, yes, I know, right? Instagram, here we go. Oh, yes, you're the lady from the Royal Medics. I didn't realise that was you on Instagram. Hello, lovely to see you. JR, yes, the news, I you know what, I actually stopped with the news probably a good few years ago because it's just toxic. Oh no, Instagram's gone. Right, okay, Facebook it is then. What time are we on? Oh my god, where has the time gone? Right. Yes, unfortunately, it's heartbreaking. There is something called Good News Network. If you go online, maybe Google it. I don't know. Mine's an email. You get an email every day at like lunchtime UK time. Excuse me. And it's called the Good News Network, and it shares with you like positive news. Things that are cool and fun and happy stories. So I would recommend that, JR, just to get a bit of sparkle in your inbox. And like I've realized that how we start our day. And again, like this sounds so simple, but I finally get it now. Like how we start our day impacts the rest of the day, which is why, like for me, the 3 to 5 minutes, it's essential now. It's like brushing my teeth. It has to be done. So how you start your mornings is really, it can be really impactful. So any other questions? I'll do a couple more minutes. Let me get rid of this on Instagram. I'll give you guys a moment. Let me close this on Instagram properly. If you've got any more questions, let me know. Oh, JR, there's a new cat cafe in my area. I want to bring copies of your books to donate so people who come in and hang out can learn about herbs and cat chakras. Amazing. That's awesome. Drop me an email, JR, info@naturallycats.co.uk, and let's see if there's a way that we can make that work. That sounds awesome. Please get in touch. Any other questions? Right, I'll add more to that in a minute. Let's just share that if we can. If Instagram will let us put that back. Any other questions? Anybody else? I don't know why I was doing that. Right. Put that on mute. Okay, any other questions? Favorite brands of cat treats? Ooh, great question. Great question. Okay. Not that I'm a cat mum or anything, but I do happen to have treats here. Oh, look, there's more questions coming in. All right, a couple more. So my favorite brands of cat treats are Cosma and Thrive. Let me go and get the box. Hang on a second. So all our treats are... Hang on a second. JR, don't purchase them before you get in touch with me, because I wonder if there's a way that I can give you a discount. So please don't purchase them yet. Let me get in touch and let's see if I can do you a deal or something. Okay. So this is one of them. This is Cosma. It's a massive container because it's better to buy in bulk. So in terms of treats, these are freeze-dried treats that we have. Cosma and Thrive are the same thing. They are literally... This is whitefish, and oh man, these are honky. These are so stinky, and it's a bit of freeze-dried, that's all crumbly fish. So we've got chicken ones. Oh, surprised I'm not going to get baby Max in a minute. We've got chicken ones, fish ones, which look the same, but they are slightly different, and salmon ones, which are pink. Okay. I use these are brilliant. So not only do I use them as toppers, so I crumble these on top of the boys' raw food. As I said before, raw food shouldn't smell. So when cats use their nose to eat, because it's not warmed, their food doesn't have any smell to it. So I sprinkle the toppers on top to encourage them to eat. I use it for baby Max, so he likes freeze-dried food. So I have a mixture of like freeze-dried chicken hearts, like rabbit neck, lamb's lung, and a few others. Those brands, I hate to say it, are from Dr. Judy Morgan in the US, who unfortunately, which breaks my heart, she stopped shipping to the UK. Gutted. I couldn't tell you what the names are because I've only got them. I think it's the second time I've had them a couple of months ago. But in the UK, Cosma and Thrive are brilliant, and I use them as treats. I use them for behavior work. I use them as toppers, and I use them as a meal. So I use them mixed in with other freeze-dried options. What else was I going to say? There's also another brand called, I think it's Vital Essentials, but don't quote me on that. They do freeze-dried minnows, like little tiny fish, which are brilliant. So as in terms of a whole prey option, and they're great for teeth as well because they're that long. I haven't got any here because we haven't had any for a while. In fact, I might have a... Oops. Because I'm super organized. Aha, we do. So Vital Essentials It might not look like that. I think they've changed their packaging recently. So these are the minnows. Okay, you can actually get these on Amazon, but not any other Vital Essential stuff. These are Meow. No, these are the New Zealand pet food company. This is what I can't get anymore now because I got it from Dr. Judy, which was green-lipped mussels and lamb with green tripe, which is a real shame because they're super high quality. So if anybody can find freeze-dried green-lipped mussels from anywhere else, please drop me a message and let me know. And Vital Cat do little rabbit bites. Again, I did get those on Amazon once before. So these options might be a bit harder to come by, but Cosma and Thrive you can get on Zoo Plus, not Zoopla, the house thing, Zoo, ZOOPLUS, or a place called Bibita, which is B for Bob, ITIBA. Let me put those in the chat. Hang on. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Wait a minute. Okay, there we go. So I hope that's helped. Definitely, absolutely not Dreamies. Absolutely not Licky Licks. All full of shit. All full of crap. All full of terrible food and ingredients. So absolutely not those. Anything freeze-dried is definitely an option. Okay. How often do you... Yes, JR, please get in touch, my love. Please do. How often do you feed your cats? Ooh, so roughly 4 times a day. Roughly. So Leo, so my boys are slightly different. Leo generally has 4 meals. So breakfast, lunchtime, afternoon, which is about 4 o'clock, and then nighttime. So I go to bed between 9 and 10. He has a small meal at night. Sound like a proper Jana then. He has a small meal at nighttime, and he also has half a quail egg, which is raw. So I have quail eggs from Sainsbury's, and I have 1 egg. I put it into a bowl. I use a fork and I mix it up as if you're going to make a scrambled egg. I then pour half of that into a second bowl. So both of the boys have half a raw quail's egg before bed every night. That's our thing. Baby Max. So Leo has 4 meals and a quail egg. I sound like I should be going to a Christmas song there. Baby Max varies. So he will sometimes eat the head of a mouse, which is great for omegas and calcium. Not so great when you find half a squished dead mouse downstairs. He sometimes has 1 meal in the morning and then like 4 later in the day. He may not have lunch. He will come in at like 3-4 o'clock. He'll have a meal. If he's still looking around, he'll have a second one. And then he'll have a meal 2-3 hours later and 1 at night time. Sometimes he's a bit more paced. So he might have 2 in the morning and then 1 later. Excuse me. But Baby Max at the moment is a lot more active than Leo. So Leo's active, don't get me wrong. He's 5.5. But he does sleep, I've noticed, more than Baby Max. Baby Max is just 2.5. So he's still going outside, very interested, up at 4:30, 5 o'clock. So with Baby Max, I still generally feed like as and when he's hungry, but we don't have any food down. I don't free feed anything. So if I put food down and he doesn't eat it within, say, half an hour, it gets picked up. Obviously, if it's raw, it's covered and put back in the fridge. He does have wet as well. So Baby Max has a variety. So he has raw, wet, occasionally dry, and freeze dried. So for him, it's a bit more sporadic, really. But I would say roughly 4 times a day. So I hope that's been helpful. Right. One more question. Any more questions before I wrap us up? I can take one more. Ooh, yes, what an interesting question. Do you think it's appropriate to allow self-selection with something like bovine blood powder, like you would botanical extracts? Max, my dog, is only sometimes interested in it, but another dog I know wants to eat it a fair bit all the time, and I'm not sure if it's because it tastes nice or if she needs it. She's recovering from having metal plates. Oh, wow. So my first question to you is, what do you think is appropriate? So when it comes to self-selection questions, I always like to turn it around. So like, what do you think? What do you think is appropriate to do with that? Tell me what you think. Ooh, the tension. Can't believe we lost Instagram. It's a real shame. What do you think? What time is it? Right. Okay, yes. I think she might need it. She's only recently been started on raw, and I think it was giving her essential nutrients that she likely needed. I would completely agree. So self-selection is, zoopharmacognosy, animal medicine knowing. It's about the animal knowing what they need to heal. And if you look at, I know, Yaz, you've got this book, Wild Health by Cindy. Oh God, Cindy. I don't have it here. Cindy Engel, Engel, I think, but don't quote me on that. There's the Wild Health book. It's really interesting, and there are examples in there about angels. Thank you. Monkeys, she talks about monkeys and parrots and goats. There's like all sorts of animals in there, and she shares about, it's not just like when they've got parasites, they will use different clays. Like when some of the birds, they will dust different concentrations of clay under their feathers when they've got mites. One animal, I don't know which one, maybe it's a monkey, but will pick certain leaves off certain trees that are higher up and newer budding because they've got a higher, I don't know, acidic content or whatever. I'm not great with the science. But it's really interesting because for me, like, self-selection isn't just about the remedy. It's not just about the medicine element of a powder or a oil or a herb. My mission is giving cats a voice, and in that is giving them a choice. A choice in where they eat, a choice in where they sleep, a choice in what they do, a choice in the collar they have. Like when we are connected with our cats, I don't know, this is a dog, but it's the same thing. When we're connected with our animals, whether it's our animals or our clients, we can still have a connection with them. When we tap into that connection with them, we can figure out, we can feel into their essence and know what they need. We can help to understand what we can offer them, what we can support them with. So I would say, give the dog a choice. There are some situations where, for example, like we have spirulina down here. I've always got spirulina down. I can't tip it too much, although this is a couple of days old. I've got spirulina mixed, mixed with organic sunflower oil. This is done all the time because spirulina is a huge nutrient boost. It's brilliant for the immune system. Excuse me. Oh, I'm starting to lose. Hang on. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Right. Spirulina is brilliant. It's an immune boost. It supports so many different functions in the body. It's full of nutrients, and it helps with anxiety, and it helps remove the additional chemicals in the body. So when I've got Leo, who's having a steroid inhaler over his mouth once a day, we've got this down to help his body process those chemicals. When I've got baby Max, who maybe he's been out for a long time or he got a bit scared outside from something, I've got spirulina down so that he can come home, because spirulina can be really can help with anxiety. So spirulina is amazing, and I've learned about it with Pickle. It's in the Aromatic Cat book. I think only a little bit though. Spirulina's in Karen Ingram's book, if you want a bit more detail. So I have that down like all the time. So sometimes I end up ditching it because it's it's not being used. Other times I'm like, well, that's gone in like a day, because they've both been at it. Pickle would always have spirulina. I haven't got that picture here. And she only liked the powder. So she would have a green beard. She'd have this powder all around her mouth. It'd be all over the sofa. I was trying to offer it to her. Whereas these two boys only like it with oil. I've tried it several times, just the powder, and they don't like it. They won't select it. So I mix it with organic sunflower oil, not the sunflower oil from the supermarket, from an animal provider. So when we give them the capacity to have a choice, it's amazing what they can do. Like when Leo goes up to food and walks away, I'm like, oh, buddy, why was that? If I go over there, I'm like, well, actually, that raw smells a bit funky. It was out from the freezer too long or whatever it may be. So if we trust them, they will show us. If there are signs of concern, so the point I was getting to, that I think it was Amaya once said to me that spirulina can be addictive. I've never had that experience, nor have I ever heard that before. I'm not saying that she's wrong. That's just not been my experience. So I'm cautious now. Like I keep an eye on how often my boys are looking at that, how much they are using it. So like with the blood powder, which I have to say, bovine blood powder, I would love to know where you're getting that from. So please drop me an email, because that's a beautiful way to include nutrients in a kind of a really safe way for people that aren't comfortable using blood and raw food. So yes, can you drop me an email, love, and send me the link for where you've got that from, please? I would be really interested to look at that. If you see an animal continuously, like ravenously going for it, and that's not changing, there's a space for concern. You know, with self-selection, you might have an animal be very intense for a while because they're trying to get their condition, whatever is going on in their body, under control. And if it doesn't wane, then you look at that. Then you look to reduce things. There are instances like with some of the fatty oils with cats with pancreatitis, you do have to be careful with the amount of oil they take on board. Again, everything's in the it's not the Aromatic Cat book. Everything about that is in Caroline Ingram's book. So it's about, you know, watching and managing what they do. Oh, JR, thank you for coming, my love. We're wrapping up anyway soon. Thank you for being here. And don't forget, please drop me an email, info@naturallycats.co.uk, so we can sort out that book thing you want to do for the cat cafe. And F40, let me make a note of that. Where's my pens? And it's under all my labels. Packaging. Okay. And F40, thank you. Seal it. Every day is a school day. Brilliant. So to sum up, I would say, yes, I would offer it using self-selection, and I would just keep an eye on, you know, reading the behavior of the animal, like read the body language when they're using it. Are they frantic about it? Is the amount that they're self-selecting reducing? If it is, go with it, because they know what they need, and trust your intuition, because you guessed it right to start with. Okay, right. I'm going to wrap up. I'm surrounded by like labels, food and books and cat things. So I'm going to put a bit of order back to my desk. Thank you all for being here with me. If you haven't already and you would like to share your cat story with me, I am still looking to interview a couple of people between now and Christmas. So now and the 22nd, to hear about your story with your cat. So if you're struggling with your cat, please drop a call and let me know. I want to understand how I could be of service in 2024. Yes, I offer cat chakra cleanses. Yes, we've got the Become a Solid Guardian program. And I'm happy to talk to you about those options. But I also really want to understand, like, how are you doing with your cat? Like, how are you getting on? What are you experiencing? And if you've got somewhere something that you're stuck with, or you need a bit of support, please let me know. I would love to hear your story. I may not be able to offer advice on the call. It's about understanding where you are and looking at what I can do next year to support you with that. But I'll drop a link below, and I look forward to speaking to you. Thank you to everybody that's been here this evening. It's been really lovely to be with you all, and I will see you live again in 2024. Take care, everyone. Lots and lots of love, and thanks again. Bye for now.